Not only can they beautify your home, they can save you money too. As energy costs keep climbing, put your energy bills in check. Call today and find out how affordable ABC Seamless products can be.
This is CNN.
CIA Director Robert Gates makes a decision that could open some files on the John F. Kennedy assassination.
Nobody's asking to know who exactly it is, but if you're going to make a claim like that, you need to be able to back it up.
Fact or fiction? Is the AIDS virus really spreading faster than normal at some Texas high schools? Airline deregulation. Was it a good idea, or is it time to go back to the old way of doing business? This is Newsday. I'm Lou Waters. Cheryl Atkinson has the day off. The CIA might soon open some of the files on the assassination of John F. Kennedy. CNN has learned CIA Director Robert Gates will pledge full CIA cooperation with government efforts to declassify secret documents on the case. In a speech to the Oklahoma Press Association this hour, Mr. Gates is expected to talk about the Kennedy documents. The CIA is under political pressure, as you know, to release what it knows about Kennedy's death. The movie JFK revived allegations that some in government hid information about the 1963 assassination. In 1964, the Warren Commission found that Lee Harvey Oswald acted alone in killing Kennedy. The commission sealed many of the documents it used to arrive at that conclusion. Polls show many Americans have doubts about the commission's conclusions and that many believe there was a conspiracy to kill JFK. The Norplant birth control device is long-lasting, it's controversial, and soon may be available to almost any woman in California who wants one. In about an hour, California's Governor Pete Wilson is expected to announce that the state will make Norplant available to low-income women at little or no cost. He's included $5 million in the proposed state budget for this program. Norplant hormone capsules are surgically implanted in the upper arm. They're said to be 99% effective in preventing pregnancies for up to 5 years. Reports say a New York City task force is recommending locking up hundreds of tuberculosis patients who refuse treatment. According to New York Newsday and the Daily News, a health department draft report says city officials should seek court orders to detain uncooperative TB patients and put them in shelters, psychiatric wards, or sanitariums. The health department estimates there were about 3,700 new TB cases in the city last year. Texas health officials are reviewing the files of an AIDS counselor who reported that a relatively large number of Northeast Texas students had tested HIV positive. At issue, was the counselor's report accurate, and should she have made it public in the first place? CNN's Mike Capps has our report.
Last fall, an AIDS counselor told officials at 3 Northeast Texas high schools they had an HIV problem. 13 high school students, the counselor said, tested HIV positive.
No, I maintain, let's find out what the facts are.
Minister and parent Reverend Brett Castle says parents and students in the area are confused and upset.
Nobody's asking for names. Nobody's asking to know who exactly it is. But if you're going to make a claim like that, you need to be able to back it up.
School officials questioned the accuracy of reports done by AIDS counselor Donna Spence, an employee of Arctech's Council of Governments, a regional government contractor in Texarkana.
We have to find that fine line between fact and fiction. We have to keep our students from going on a witch hunt.
Ms. Spence supervisors asked the Texas Department of Health to review her case files. When asked if Donna Spence made a mistake releasing HIV information, her supervisors do not directly respond.
Those questions have come up, and as soon as the statistics are in our hands, then we will have a statement to answer every question that has been asked of us.
Ms. Spence's supervisors won't allow her to be interviewed. Texas Department of Health officials who work directly with Ms. Spence say there is no reason for anyone to tell a school it has an HIV problem.
Our state law talks about individual persons, that if you have knowledge that a person is HIV infected or has AIDS, you cannot make that knowledge known about that person.
Dr. Simpson insists Texas considers patient confidentiality top priority. Only in rare cases would the health department ever learn an HIV patient's identity.
If we feel there is a danger to the public health for any communicable disease, then we will take steps that are necessary to be sure that anyone who may be put at risk has sufficient information.
But on a day-to-day basis, Texas policy prohibits release of HIV information. The problem of not having access to such information perplexes school officials.
We could have 0, we could have 50. We don't have proof to substantiate the 4 that we allegedly have.
Texas health officials say educators shouldn't worry about numbers or identities. They believe teaching HIV's deadly nature and providing counseling for students should be the school's main concern. Mike Katz, CNN, Bogota, Texas.
General Motors employees fear another plant closing and more layoffs are coming. The Detroit Free Press reports GM is planning to close its assembly plant in Arlington, Texas. GM Chairman Robert Stempel plans an announcement to his employees Monday morning, but company officials will not speculate on what he's going to say. In December, Stempel told GM workers the company would close 21 factories and cut 74,000 jobs. By the mid-90s, when GM releases its 1991 financial report Monday, analysts expect a loss of almost $4 billion. The end of the Cold War is expected to cost millions of American jobs in the defense industry, and a new study indicates government aid programs must be revamped so they can help these displaced workers. The study was done by a nonpartisan agency serving Congress. It predicts at least 1 million jobs will be lost in the defense industry by '95, 2.5 million by the year 2000. Hardest hit will be these 8 states, which have about half of all of the defense jobs. Edward Kennedy was one of 2 Democratic senators requesting the report.
As the study makes clear, there's no easy transition to a post-Cold War economy, but the challenge of making that transition is also an opportunity for revitalizing the civilian economy and investing in America. We must redirect the talents of our defense scientists, engineers, and skilled workers to the major domestic needs of the nation, needs that have been irresponsibly neglected for the past decade and are at the heart of our current and chronic economic troubles.
President Bush has proposed defense cuts of about $50 billion over 5 years. Many Democrats and Republicans say those cuts could go deeper. The United States Senate today overwhelmingly approved a bill to help students from poor and middle-income families pay for college. The Higher Education Act, as it's called, would raise the limit on the amount a family could earn and still be eligible for a Pell Grant, and would increase the amount of the grants. Also, schools with a high student loan default rate would be eliminated from the loan program. The bill now moves on to the House. New York Governor Mario Cuomo said again today he is not a candidate for president, and he wants campaign volunteers to stop treating him like one. Cuomo issued a statement in which he said, quote, "I am flattered by their support and impressed by their commitment," but he asked the volunteers to stop their efforts on his behalf. Repeating an announcement he made in December, Cuomo said he cannot run because New York state budget has not been settled. The governor picked up 3% of the write-in votes in Tuesday's New Hampshire primary. Dick York, the actor who played the hapless husband in the popular television series Bewitched, has died. York died at a hospital in Grand Rapids, Michigan at age 63. He had been suffering for years from emphysema and a spinal condition. CNN's Jack Porman tells us that York made the most of an early retirement.
Dick York began his career in radio. He acted in 6 films, most notable of which was Inherit the Wind. But it was a television role that made him rich and famous. His role as Elizabeth Montgomery's mortal husband brought him a good deal of money for the time, and years of reruns kept him famous. York left Bewitched after 5 years because of a back problem that led to an addiction to painkillers. York's back problem was complicated in recent years by emphysema, forcing him to live a meager lifestyle provided for by a Screen Actors Guild pension. Yet the homebound actor was a tireless fundraiser for the homeless, a project he called Acting for Life.
Just plain Joe Blow who goes around and collects tin cans and sells the tin cans and feeds somebody with them. They are the people. I would be glad to stand in that company any day. But as far as being separate from, I'm not willing to be separate from anybody.
I hate to break it to you, John, but it's going to be a big one this time. I'll give you a minute. Tough break. His first major repair, and it comes just 2 months after.
Celebrities feel right at home.
I'm Beverly Schuch. Enjoy fresh, healthy skin with my Collagen skincare system, only on Home Shopping Club.
I'm Jack LaLanne. Increase your energy and stamina with Fit Over 50, only on Home Shopping Club.
Hi, I'm Brenda Dycraft. Bring out the champion within you with my complete line of fitness products, only on Home Shopping Club.
Home Shopping Club. Great bargains, guaranteed.
This is CNN.
And among our top stories, the director of the CIA, Robert Gates, is in Tulsa, Oklahoma right now. He's delivering a speech live to the Oklahoma Press Association where he's expected to announce a declassification of documents in the JFK case. Let's listen.
In any government-wide effort to declassify these documents. And I understand that Senator Boren and Congressman Stokes will soon introduce a joint resolution that will begin this process. Our ability to act unilaterally in declassifying these documents is hindered by the Privacy Act, the sequestration of many documents that we have by the House Select Committee on Assassinations, and the fact that many other documents we hold on this tragedy belong to other agencies. But CIA will not be found lagging in any broader government effort to review and declassify these documents.
So there you have it, responding to the political pressure generated in large part by the movie JFK, the Oliver Stone film, the director of the CIA pledging to work at releasing documents on the JFK assassination. Some documents, others, as you just heard, are not under the jurisdiction of the CIA. The Norplant contraceptive soon will be available to thousands of low-income women in California at little or no cost. California's Governor Pete Wilson is expected to announce his Norplant program within the hour. He's included $5 million in his proposed state budget to make Norplant more widely available. The Detroit Free Press reports General Motors is planning to close its assembly plant in Arlington, Texas. GM Chairman Robert Stempel has scheduled an announcement to employees Monday morning, but it's not clear yet on what he plans to say. Stempel announced in December that the company would close 21 factories and cut 74,000 jobs by '95. And now, look at the business news in New York. Joining us live, Beverly Schuch.
Thanks, Lou. Investors are back in a selling mood today in Wall Street after yesterday's record performance, lower bond prices, and some profit-taking pressuring the market. Right now, the Dow Jones Industrial Average is down 24 points at 32.56, a long way from the record yesterday. Volume is heavy, 195 million shares traded so far, and declining issues are leading advancers by a 5-3 margin. The broader and secondary markets are all lower right now. Time Warner stock is bucking the day's downward trend. It is up 2 7/8 points. Late yesterday, the company's co-chief executive resigned. Turner Broadcasting also gaining. It is up 1 5/8. The company reporting a strong fourth quarter profit as compared to a loss a year ago. Merck not faring as well. It is down 2 1/8 after yesterday's more than 3-point run-up. And Zeos International is down 4 1/4. The computer products company posting lower than expected fourth quarter earnings. In the credit market, bond prices are heading south today. Waning hopes for lower interest rates are pushing investors to sell. The government's 30-year bond down 13/32 in price. The yield at 7.94%. But the dollar is continuing its recent climb and is now up 1/4 of a yen against the Japanese currency, up 3/4 of a pfennig against the German mark, and up 3/4 of a cent against the British pound. Creditors of the Bank of Credit and Commerce International may soon see some of their lost money. The country of Abu Dhabi, the main stockholder of the scandal-ridden bank, today agreeing to a worldwide compensation plan. Under the plan, Abu Dhabi would pay up to $2.2 billion to creditors. That would meet about 30 to 40% of those claims. Courts in Luxembourg, Britain, and the Cayman Islands must first approve the plan. And that is the latest in financial news. One last check of the Dow shows that the blue chips now down 20 points. Reporting live from the New York Stock Exchange, I'm Beverly Schuch.
Check you later, Beverly. Democratic presidential candidate Bill Clinton continues his sweep of the South. Today in Atlanta, Governor Clinton delivered an education message to the Georgia General Assembly.
I think we ought to abolish the student loan program and substitute for it a national service trust fund out of which any American without regard to income could borrow the money to go to college, pay it back at tax time so they couldn't beat the bill as a small percentage of their income, or in the alternative, they could give 2 years of service to our nation here at home, doing work we urgently need.
Governor Clinton plans a last-minute foray Saturday into Maine before its caucuses on Sunday. The Voter Education Project was formed in the early 1960s to help educate black people about their voting rights and the political process. But the historic organization has run out of money, and as CNN's Pat Etheridge now reports, it plans to close its doors soon.
This is all that's left of a Black American legacy. The Voter Education Project, the oldest voting rights organization